Welcome to the Industry Angel Podcast. We hear from the best business minds across the globe, entrepreneurs, social influencers, marketing mavens, and sales rock stars. We've got them all. Here comes your weekly dose of inspiration with your host, Ian Farah.
We are back. It's been about 3 minutes since I've seen you, so I've really missed you. I hope you've missed us. Technical faults. We weren't streaming to Facebook, but we are now, apparently. So lovely of you to join us. Let me know if you can see us, right? Okay, make us feel warm and cuddly inside because we're a bit stressed out. What we've got to say, Carl Buckley, last week, you loved it. The feedback was great. I pressed the wrong camera and everything went through the very small laptop camera. Yeah, I tell you, it's every time. More technology just adds more issues, which I'm sure we'll probably talk about tonight. Tell us where you are. Tell us where you are watching us from, because we're across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And that must be our Lindsay from Invest South Tyneside saying you are streaming out on Facebook. I wasn't before, Lindsay. I don't know what happened there. Someone's been fiddling. Good evening to you as well. So, Invest South Tyneside Tech Talks. My name's Ian Farrell. We're back again with another fantastic, I'm going to preempt, fantastic talk. They always are. They're always good. There's our call. Hi, Carl. Nice to see you. Isn't it good, though, that we're here in person? We've just been saying how we're really missing being downstairs with beer and pizza and everybody, but it's great. We've got Sue here, COVID, distanced, and all that stuff, that nice things, but at least we can do it in person, which is great because it's much better when you can meet a guest in person and have a bit of rapport and look them in the whites of the eyes and see all the little things that have been happening along this journey. Because I'm excited because, let me give you an introduction, Sue. Right then, so if I can read my printouts.
Shall I do your introduction?
No, don't. Hang on, let us try and do it. No, you're going to have to do it yourself.
You have to do it yourself. No pressure here, I tell you what. Well, so I'm CEO of Katy Sue Designs.
Which designs, manufactures and retails its own unique
range of
craft
products. Well, craft, cake decorating, creative products.
Awesome. Katy Sue, who's Katy?
That's my sister. She's not actually in the business, but I started the business with my mum.
Right.
A long time ago, 25 years ago.
25 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was always, well, I'm the age probably now that she was then. And I understand now why that mum's always getting names muddled up.
Ah, right, okay.
So she was always saying Katy Sue. That's what we're going to call it.
You know when you started a business, did your mum tell you to get a proper job?
No.
Because mum's great. My mum said, no, just like get a proper job in, you know.
No. Well, the start of my business was a bit of a funny journey, I suppose. So to give me mum something to do, I was actually already self-employed.
Right.
I was a hairdresser, which I didn't really want to be, but I ended up being a hairdresser.
That's why you're so glam this evening.
Thanks very much for noticing.
Could have done with you before.
No, and I never really wanted to do it, but I ended up anyway being a hairdresser. Long story short, my brother, who was only 22 or something at the time, he got attacked, and he was like really, really seriously ill, life support for 10 days, all the rest of it, and he had to, in his recovery, my mum was overcompensating for everything, and I said to her, look, you've got to do something. And she's been the creative one. She's been the typical crafter, knitter, sewer, you name it, everything. And I said, well, get back to a hobby. You've got to let him go and develop all of these skills again. And she said, okay, then she went to the library because she's a big library fan, came back with this book, which had a doll on the front of it, and the doll was holding a miniature doll, like a miniature doll. And she said, I want to make that miniature doll. And I'm like, no, not wool, it was porcelain.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was like, I'm going to make this porcelain doll. It was like a little Victorian thing, and I was like, okay. And in the back of this book, there was a supplies, you could buy the supplies from London.
Ah, right, okay.
So in encouraging my mum to do that, she ended up, there was like local exhibitions and things like that, you know, and she had about 30 of these dolls all already made. They were all bold, and she said, well, you're a hairdresser. I was like, this doll's head's like big, you know, and okay. Anyway, it turns out I'm pretty good at that. I'm better at that than I am being a hairdresser.
Don't say you took hair off the floor from the salon and stuck it on dolls' heads. That would be weird.
No. It was totally out of scale. It's mohair. It was fine mohair.
Right.
I encouraged her. We did an exhibition, supported her. She sold out. And we ended up being, we made them. I said, well, if we're going to do this properly, we'll turn it into a business.
Right.
Started on a kitchen table.
Cool.
And ended up selling them into 28 countries. So
wow.
Yeah, we're out really, really good.
Wow.
But it was brilliant because it fitted around my children being little, and we moved into a unit up at Viking Industrial Estate. We had probably 5 employees at the height, but
all doing dolls. That was it.
That was all we did.
Yeah.
So it was called Katy Sue Dolls.
Right.
And we did that for 12 years maybe. And by the end of it, I was totally fed up because my children were getting older. I really was interested in the business side of things.
Right.
And
so were you hands-on? You were making stuff?
I was wigging all these flaming dolls in. And not only that, I was painting their faces as well. Yeah, nice. And we sold a lot of these because we ended up being like the supplier that was in the back of that book.
Right. Okay.
Wow. So yeah, it was quite a journey. And then eventually, the things like that, collectibles have cycles. And
what, in terms of trend?
In terms of being a hot collectible thing, and dolls, houses and miniatures kind of had their day. The dolls market collapsed first, and then the miniatures market was heading that way. And I said, I want to do something different.
Right.
I really want to do something different, and I didn't know what. But I knew I was really interested in proper business.
Yeah.
So I took myself off to Durham and did an MBA. And thought,
did you?
Yeah, I thought.
Isn't it funny that you say proper business? How long were you in business for? 12 years, did you say, before this time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yes, and that's not right to say at all, because
it's not mad.
It is entirely
like
the wrong thing to say.
Not imposter syndrome, but you don't believe it's real. Sometimes, do you?
I guess it was a micro business. So what I should say is I wanted to get into a bigger business. I wanted to develop it more, and I knew I couldn't do that if I had to hand pay to every face. It was never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did a little bit of development time and looked at craft market and what was out there, and I said, look, I think maybe we can transfer some of our skills into paper craft, because card makers, all of those kind of things were taken off at the time.
When was that?
What year was that? So this was 2004 when I was looking into it. So 2004, I thought, I know, we'll just make like a cameo of a doll and turn it into a kit that card makers would buy and sell them for about $8.99, these kits, and it'd be the most fabulous card that you'd ever sell to anybody. I thought, right, well, I'm not going to make these, even though we developed a resin that looked like porcelain. I thought, I'm not going to do this. Got a hold of my dad. My mum and dad are divorced. He lives at one end of the country. My mum lives in South Shields. But my dad's a very experienced businessman. And,
how is he? Right.
He then helped me go over to China. I had the world's best factory in dolls producing this setup ready to go into card making. What I learned pretty quickly was no card makers could pay $8.99 for the kit.
Right.
It's just, I come from £100 a doll to card making. I didn't have that bit right.
So in terms of the doll then, low volume, high.
Yeah, I mean, it was just $8.99 a kit in card making is just so expensive.
Yeah.
But to me, it felt cheap.
Right. Okay.
Because I'd come from, expensive kits.
Of course.
then I said, right, okay, this is going to work. But we developed a little material that was used to make little flowers in this doll's hair. And if you imagine glitter, you know how you use glitter and put the glue down?
I'm all over this stuff. I've been on the website, I've been on YouTube. I'm a flower pro now. I'm into cakes. So yes, I can imagine glitter, right? Carry on.
Well, we had this glittery substance, but it wasn't shiny, and it was called, we named it Flower Soft in the end. Right. And you use it in the same way. You would put your glue down, sprinkle this on, and what you would get on your paper would look like a sprinkle of miniature flowers.
No way.
And that was just like mega popular. And that just drove us into the craft industry and paper crafts, where we ended up with a business in the United States, distributors all over the place.
So you know when you're saying you developed that Flower Soft?
Flower Soft.
Check me out.
Yeah.
Was that here, or did you?
I had that made in China. So
is that like a JV you did with people, or was it like a recipe?
No, but he, Mr. Wei, he set his own business up out there, and over the years that I went over there, you would see pictures where he was getting into a bigger factory in his.
Right.
You know, supporting his family, and it was a great time.
So you both win it.
We both won, we both won it. It was brilliant, and just one of these really super trending products. But like all things like that, of course, they have their moment, and things move on. We just we developed other paper craft type of products, and then we looked at, well, how can we take the creativity of the team, and we were still pretty small, so I think we were about a variable between 12 and 18 people across that time period.
And you had your MBA in your back pocket by now?
I did, yes, I did.
So part of that MBA then was that, did you have to do something like a project or start a business or a new revenue stream and you picked that up? No,
it was quite funny because at the time, of course, I was the micro business with the dolls, and everybody else was sort of Procter and Gamble.
Were you the doll lady?
And I was the doll. But I'm quite proud of myself for doing that, because when you started off, there's a lot of people join it and there's not a lot finish.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
So I was quite pleased with myself for doing that.
So there's been, come fast forward to now, because you've moved quick. There's lots happened, hasn't there?
It feels like a 25-year overnight success story, because actually we grew quite rapidly in the middle of the Flower Soft thing, came down that, so I've done the full up and down with it. But then in the last 3 years, we've sort of transformed again. So we'd moved into cake decorating and silicone molds, which took me back to the sculpting and mold making type of things, and done really well in cake. And then, but I still hadn't achieved my own ambition of getting to a bigger business, the size that I felt that it should be.
Right.
That it has had the potential to be. And really, I took some investment in. My mum retired.
From the business?
Yeah, she still obviously helps and gives me plenty of ideas and plenty of advice like mums do.
Yeah.
And my dad still definitely helps me on a weekly basis, if not daily sometimes.
Yeah.
But taking the investment in was the step change that I needed to have, because like I told you, I'd only worked for myself since I was 19. So I haven't had the benefit of working with other experienced business people, or working your way up a corporate, or learning from other more skilled people.
Or being accountable to other people.
And being accountable or challenged. I mean, I'm not saying you don't get challenged off your mum, because you do. But, we set a board up, which I'd always wanted, and that was like a complete turning point for me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, my chair's Neil Stevenson, who's now, one of my investor and really a partner in what we do here. And anybody who knows Neil will know that he can challenge you.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of cake making as well, I've heard, by the way.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently so. So, being challenged and being directed and made to slow down and think about things and get all that good stuff right.
It's interesting because you talk about they were taking a board and having direction and focus and being challenged and that sort of stuff. But going back to them early days that you talked about, you seem to bring on lots of different. Well, it's R&D essentially, isn't it? You were doing R&D. You were watching. Like, how did you do that with such a small team? Is it because you're interested?
Because I'm a product girl and I just love products.
Uh-huh.
I just up until this year when we've taken in a product manager, so we're growing the management team now to help grow the business. And I've got a fantastic product manager who's joined us. But up until then, that was me.
Right.
The whole, every single product that's ever gone through Katy Sue was me pushing it on, and I love that.
So in terms of that, given the reins over to this new product manager, does that feel like? I mean, is she watching now?
I don't think I've told her that I want tonight.
Who's the best product manager? How does that feel? Passing that across, because we can be a bottleneck, can't we, in the business when we've got
I'm a total bottleneck. I am a total bottleneck in the business, and it's fantastic to have Alison on board.
Okay.
I feel like this is like the start of a turning point. Excellent. Because it releases me from some things. Yeah. Obviously, she's not from craft, so she's got all of that, this madness of craft and cake decorating to learn about, which is quick learner, and she's doing great.
You know she's going to tap you now for a rise after saying that. It's actually on here now. It's documented.
I know it is.
But it does free you up. And I was just talking about that today about freeing yourself up to do some of the not revenue generating tasks as such, but getting rid of some of the things that stop you driving the business on. You can easily get involved in something which is just like minutiae, whereas one of your colleagues maybe pick that up. So thinking about that, and what's your role now? If you pass product off, what does Sue do now in the business?
Well, I haven't totally passed it off because she's still learning it.
Yeah.
But so I've been directed more towards an input into sales, and I've certainly had in this year had to have more of an input back into production.
Right.
Which, obviously I wasn't there at the start of that, but I've had to go back into that a little bit more recently. Been thinking about the systems that we want and just, I don't know, being what the CEO should do, I suppose, and being more directly to do those kind of overview things rather than get into the...
It's more strategic than operational, but you still... in your heart, you love that ops bit, so it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I still love the product bit, and I get very caught up in
poor Alison.
Thinking about that. Poor Alison. Poor Alison, yeah.
We're locking your door, Alison, but there's Neil watching as well, the chair, so
it's all right. But actually, so Neil has made me think about sales. So I didn't think about sales, even though I'd had a business that set up. We used to supply 900 stores in the United States at the height of flower salt.
Wow, right, okay.
But I didn't think about sales. They came because of the product.
You only say sales, sorry, Jim, you only say sales, do you mean the pricing element of how much you're going to sell something for?
Oh, no.
Or the fact of trying to find more customers and pushing more products out?
Everything is about getting the sales in, because if you don't get it in, you can't do any of the good stuff that you want to do. Thinking about how do you get more sales, not the pricing of things. I mean that's more of a natural thing for me because it comes from the product. But actually sitting thinking about, I wonder if we did that, then we might get that, and I won't do any of that. It just came up and since the change of focus, I mean, Katy Sue in the last 3 years is at least four times the size it was.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Well, what I did notice online is that there's a real social media support there. You go onto the website and it's got, I am a pro and a flower pro, a cake, but each one has its own Facebook page or Facebook group. And when I look into them, it's like tens of thousands like this and 22,000 subscribers on YouTube. So is social media had an impact? You said in 4 years there things have changed. Is social to do with that? as well? Has that had an impact?
So digital marketing, definitely. So we've got, as you say, we've got a number of business pages, and then we've also got a number of groups, because it's very much like you've got to be close to your customer now, haven't you? You've really got to
have a tribe, don't you?
Have a tribe.
Yeah.
So we've got 55,000 or more on the cake decorating business page, but some of the groups have got like 12, 8, 10,000 people in a group, which is quite specific. The digital marketing helps you reach the new customer.
Okay,
so
it
helps puts a new pair of eyes on something that you might not have.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of the groups, so these groups can be quite self-managing sometimes. You set them up, you throw a few admins in there, and then you just kind of back away, and they look after themselves. Yeah. Is that what you're finding, that there's really the uber fans of stuff? And
they are fans, and they will moderate the group for you. I mean, they really do. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time, but the content that you have to put into it has to be of interest to the group.
Yeah.
You can't just, put links to a product in. That doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of video.
Yeah, I saw that.
A huge investment in video, and in fact, one of the things that we did back in 2017 was we did a lot of moving up in 2017. We moved premises, we moved websites onto Shopify, because the shopping cart element wasn't really great on what we had. And then we moved into digitally marketing, all of those kind of things as well. So that needed video content. So where we moved to had a TV studio already in it. I don't know. This area, people probably remember Jag Productions.
Right, yeah.
And so we went into their premises.
I see, okay.
And so we've done a lot of, and I had done filming in there with Gillian and John before. Okay. So it was amazing to be able to go in there.
So are you doing the filming stuff?
Yeah.
You come on. You're all over the shop. How many hats are you wearing here?
Oh no, sorry, me personally. No, I'm not on camera.
I was going to say,
no.
We've gone from being really strategic, now you're in there.
No, I thought you meant Katy Sue.
Yeah.
So we do it in-house, but no.
So part of your team in-house do that as well?
Yes, so we've got one of our graphic designers has just gradually learned over the years to do the whole video editing.
Can you come in here and help us set this up, maybe?
Well, so we don't use the same programs as you, but we do have multi-camera video.
Do you go live as well then?
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
But we need to do more. Next year we really need to do more in terms of the live.
Why is that? Because you get a lot of engagement and people commenting when you go live. Have you noticed?
We do. And I think we, at the moment, we're putting together more of a digital strategy for next year.
Yeah.
So that the content that we create is going to be very much, you need that sort of data analysis part of it as well, about where the customers are on your website and what it is that they're interested in, how many people are actually interested in that, before you just go ahead and spend your time doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, it's just Sue's gut. I think we should do.
But I bet your gut's been really right for a lot of the time. But you can't pass that gut on, can you? You can't. You've got to be a bit more smart about it. Yeah, and have a bit of proof, like you say, backed with data. Talking about going live, we're live now, there's people watching, and so throw your questions in, because that's the good bit about going live. You're getting that real time comment and people asking questions.
Yes.
And I love that. It's really, I love that engagement feel. The engagement's really, really good. Especially Jane Hart, who was watching in the bath.
Jane.
She's watching in the bath, and she said, if I watch, can you see me? At my end, I'm like, no, Pet, you're all right.
Hiya, Jane. We use Jane, she's brilliant.
Oh, Jim put a link in the note. The comments.
Everybody should use it. Everybody should have it.
You're allowed for a free free advert in the comments. But having that tribe, having that real-time engagement is really, really good. So you said you've got a social media kind of digital marketing strategy. What does that look like, and who does that? Is that something you have a say in, or do you have a team that?
I would like to say that we've got a wide team, but we haven't. So at the moment, I have employed in the past digital marketing executive, and then he went all the way to Edinburgh. All the way to Edinburgh. So I lost me Liam,
right.
And then we've been sort of managing it in an ad hoc fashion.
Yeah.
So I do have a fabulous girl who does the social media side of things, and I use a fabulous agency for some of the Facebook ads. I did used to do that myself.
Right.
But that should just show everybody that you can start doing these things yourself. You shouldn't be frightened to have a go. So I did used to do that, but now I use Mira Morgan, and there's another. We're going to advertise all of the self-side businesses, aren't we?
There's Carlsborough comment there saying that my MD is a successful woman. How proud of you, what you've achieved, and what was always classed as a historical man's world. Now, wasn't that fun? So do you ever get that? Oh, sure. So do you ever get that? In terms of the men and the women a bit in the boardroom. Do you ever come across that kind of thing?
I have to be honest and say no, I haven't.
Right.
I think maybe it's because I haven't been in enough boardrooms, mind.
Right.
Maybe it's that.
But when you've been doing deals, you're in China and stuff like that. Oh, no bother?
No.
Excellent.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, that just shows the strength of you, doesn't it?
I don't know. Maybe it's because, as I say, it's not been.
Yeah.
Bigger businesses. I don't know, but no, everybody and every business that I've ever gone to for help, my personality is I'll ask for help, and I ask for help quite openly and freely, and so there's quite a lot of bigger businesses in this area that I've gone to over the years.
From advice point of view, not about collaboration, just literally.
No, just for advice. That's for advice, and I'm going to name a couple of them: Ford Components with Jeff Ford, and Eddie with his cell pack solutions. We're sort of neighbours from the early days when I was in Dolls.
Yes.
Business neighbours.
I
loaned him his first desk.
I didn't know that. Forget it.
Never let him forget it. Hollow print, So it's like. I find that South Tyneside in particular is just really, really good at. You can knock on anyone's door.
Yeah, it is a really good network. Though. Look, speak of the devil.
There he is.
So we're 30 seconds ahead of Eddie, so you might not have heard you say that. So that's
it's
quite,
a special place.
That's quite spooky. Lindsay's asked this, and I guess what she's alluding to there is how important was it having such a strong digital side to the business this year? Obviously, it's been a tough year in terms of pandemic. So has online for you really increased with people not working and they're just crafting? And
yeah, I mean, what I would say is I think the pandemic accelerated what we were already doing anyway. Okay. I think that we've been on a digital journey for the 3 years. I mean, how I got in touch with Neil was to ask his advice. Okay. So there you go. There's another one. Freely just said, I'll come and have a chat with you. Was about digital marketing. Like, how do I get the right people in here to bring this forward? I know this is the future, and if I don't start getting this right, where am I going to be? And the first things that were tackled were, as I say, moving the website. Obviously, we started with Facebook, but we really invested much further into that. And then there are other sort of digital things. Not everything is perhaps what you think in terms of e-commerce. If you think about the big changes that happened because of the pandemic, which Lindsay was asking specifically this year, well, we did some membership sites. So right at the height of the pandemic, my fears were, okay, I don't know how long this is going to go for. I don't know if Royal Mail's going to be shut. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to have anybody into the manufacture, because we do actually manufacture the products now here. And I thought, what are the things that won't require any of that? There's only digital things. So we set up a membership site for Flower Pro. So obviously there's a lot, tens and tens and tens of thousands of people who bought a Flower Pro product.
Right.
And they're fans, so if they're fans, maybe they want like an expanded learning experience with Chef Nicholas Lodge, who's behind that product range. So we built this in a matter of weeks, really.
Wow.
And we had a couple of hundred people sign up within the first few days, really.
Right.
So
for a paid for site?
For a paid for site, £150 a year they pay. So
fantastic.
So and they get really good quality content, which is partly Facebook Live,
right?
But also held in this membership site library that they can view back on it. There's downloadable materials. There's all sorts, and of course access to Nick and early access to product launches.
Right. Good stuff.
So we did that. We also did some digital products themselves, which were just digital downloads.
Mm-hmm.
We put quite a lot of effort into that. And then we just got super busy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just been, I can't tell you how hard the guys at our place have worked.
Yeah.
Because I thought, we're going to calm down now. I'm going to have time to think and, work out a few things.
Yeah.
Mental.
So basically then, productions ramped up, orders came in.
With less people.
With less people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we had to enable safe working distances.
Of course, right.
We had to have people at home. A lot of people who were in the office, but they're still not there now. They're still working at home.
Are they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got a team in the office now, but it's nowhere near the full team in the office.
So did you do like shift work or anything with the production team, or did you do that?
No, we treated them as little families because there's actually, we acquired a laser cutting business in South Shields, Cutting Craft. So they're in a separate unit, and we've kind of got another 4 units that are all right next to each other.
Right.
So what we were more concerned about was keeping the minimum number of people in a unit or a family.
Yeah. And
not having them travel around from unit to unit.
Yeah.
So at the time, we were fortunate enough to have 2 people who lived together in the acrylic craft part of the business, and 2 people who lived together that could work in the warehouse.
Right.
So those 2 absolutely got worked to death because they were quite safe. They didn't need to be distanced from each other at all.
Yeah.
And we were just very lucky that we were able to keep people separated.
Yeah.
But keeping everybody informed who wasn't there, well, that's where we came on to Facebook Workplace. We actually still use that. It's been such a
in terms of communicating with each other, is it a board or something?
It's just like Facebook.
Right.
So when I was thinking about how to do it, because there was like Teams and all of it. There's a lot of things out there.
Yeah.
But I have, in the production side of things, people who don't have work email addresses or not necessarily used to using even email regularly. But everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I chose Facebook Workplace because it was very intuitive. It's just exactly the same.
Right.
It allows you to set up groups.
Right.
So we've got working groups on all sorts of things, and I have like a company announcements group.
Excellent.
Where we could put a company-wide things go on there, and we could do live video. Do all sorts of things. It's good.
Thinking about that, that bit where you sort of said you thought about the Royal Mail might not be here, and it sounds like you had to move quickly. What did that look like? Did you get everyone together? Did you say, right, what we're going to do here? Can we do any R&D? Can we bring in new value props? What did that look like?
What did it look like? Did
you press like a button and like alarms flashed and everyone rushed in like, right? No,
the very first thing that we did sort of in the run-up to it was about, here's like DEFCON 3, here's the stages and of what we're going to do to keep you safe.
Right.
And it starts with all of these people are going home tomorrow. And this was before that we were told that you had to be locked down. So that was the very first thing that we did. And then subsequent to that, it was just more, we didn't have a team meeting about it. I just proposed it.
Right.
I'm a product person, coming up with a membership thing or digital products wasn't like it was some hard thing to do, really. The hard bit was actually developing it all. Yeah. And the people involved, the team involved in actually implementing it, they worked really hard to do that in a short space of time. They did.
So you talk, we'll talk about tech then, well, best because I'll get it wrong.
Yes.
With obviously we talk about the e-commerce side, Shopify, the website and stuff, Facebook, workplace, things like that. What about the production side then? Did you bring in an ERP system or a stock control, production control system because things had ramped up?
Yeah, so with the acrylic craft side of the business, we inherited with that because all the team came over to Katy Sue, and they're still here. Brilliant people.
Excellent.
And in there was a developer because their production system is actually quite bespoke to them. And there was a bit of challenge between how we had office staff remotely working on the customer side and the invoicing side of things and getting that to the warehouse side and then tracking where we were. Yeah. Because we didn't have the team leader in the warehouse at the time. We had two people who could safely work together. So in doing that, we got Graham to build us a bit of bespoke software, which would take the orders from the system that we use and put it into it was a dispatch system, really. And it meant that customer service who was in one house and invoicing who was in another house, and they could all sort of track where they are with it. And we took that on a bit stage further recently because we've done something with production in that as well. But early next year, we're interviewing at the moment for a logistics manager. Right, okay. So this is another part of building that management team. I told you about Alison, and we've recently hired a fantastic girl in finance, so she's a finance manager. Now here's that sort of operational side of things is starting to come in. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll be looking again at what is the right systems. We're at that stage where we can see that the level of orders that we're having to put out on a daily basis, we now need people in the warehouse with scanners and all of that more sophisticated thing, which I have no experience of. So this is where you need really, really good people to come into your team and tell you, this is what we should have. Surround yourself with people, essentially. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's the stage we're at with that now. What about things like Amazon then? So you obviously got your own online shop, but do you sell through other channels as well? Yeah, we do. So we sell on, there's a few of our retailers sell online, even people like Lakeland are online. And the biggest one of an online retailer in the world has got to be Amazon. Yeah. So we've been on quite a journey with this. So again, this sort of 3-year plan about where we're going. And we've been building sales on Amazon via sort of seller or seller central, that kind of thing, to the point that we now have Amazon buy direct from us, so we're on Amazon vendor. And that was our goal at the start, but you've got to sort of build the history. Yeah. Is that Alison's remit then? No, that's Paul's. So Paul's looked after Amazon. I'm going to say it sounds like it's quite a job in itself. It is. He was employed to look after Amazon. And what I would say is if you've got a big vision for Amazon, which we all had, it's not something that's going to happen like in a month or two. Yeah. It's something you've got to work at for some time. And it's just, we've gone to Amazon vendor, it's all coincided with COVID and everybody now shopping more online. So not only has our online sales increased, all of our customers who are online sales have increased. Amazon's going crazy, isn't it? Everybody's on Amazon, and we're not in one country on Amazon. We're in, I don't even know how many countries we're in now. it's a lot.
Yeah. Does that scare you?
No, it's exciting.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
You know,
exciting.
when you move, I'm going to ask Sue any questions at all. I'm going to put this little banner on here while I ask you this question.
Right.
Is that lovely though? You know, when you moved recently, did that not scare you when you thought, oh, we're going to move into a big place?
Well, we haven't quite moved into it yet, so we're in there. We've got an eye on it. We're quite far down the path, but we're not totally. We haven't opened the garden gate at the end of the path yet.
Right.
But no, that doesn't scare me either. It feels right. Feels like we're going to a good place. We can't. When I took the investors in, and I'll go back to mentioning Neil again. My vision for the business was we should be a £5 million turnover business.
Right.
Because I knew that was doable. I didn't quite know how to get there on my own, I have to say, but I knew that was doable. And immediately his vision was, no, it's at least 10. And every time I get Neil to say that, he starts moving up because they've got a bigger vision than me. And I know that you can't reach these things being in 5 separate units, which we are now. Even though it's been so helpful with the pandemic, we can't fit everybody in.
Right.
We can't grow anymore. We just started to manufacture our own printed products as well, our own papercraft products. So we've got an investment into that in August. That's a whole new area of manufacturing that we hadn't done before. And that's just gone brilliantly. Amazon's buying a lot of them.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah, there's not enough room.
Yeah.
Not enough room to do it all.
So, what happened? Where you going?
I can't tell you. You'll have to get me back.
I'll come off live, I'll find out. I'll put it in the comments later, don't worry.
You have to watch this space.
You know, you're talking there though about vision, and you're right, you know, you might say, you know, my vision is to have a 1 million to 2 to 5 to 10. Yeah. Are you now, is the no limit in your vision?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Right.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that I have seen how doing the right things and getting really good experienced people in your team can rapidly take you along somewhere that you thought was going to take you a long time. And suddenly where my top line was is like, I'll probably be there in 12 months,
right?
18 months. I don't know. So now it is obviously easier to think, yes, I'm going to get the 10 million.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Yes.
But you know, I don't have a personal ambition to be millions and millions and millions of. It isn't. For me, what really drives it is the products. I think the products are great.
You're a huge fan of it.
The products are brilliant, and they've always been brilliant. And I want everybody to have the chance to get them and to experience the benefits of doing something creative.
Yeah.
And I want to try and marry that up with a positive message, which I haven't told anyone else about yet, but I definitely want to drive that into it as well.
There is what's the strapline that you have? Live a creative life. Live a creative life.
That was so we just updated the brand. See, we've been doing a lot we just updated the brand at the beginning of this year, and it's still not rolled out everywhere because with everything that's gone on, we're just kind of doing it in a more gradual way. And those are not just words.
Yeah, no, I can tell.
It is about loving a creative life. It is about loving your life and having, joy in your life. Yeah. And if doing something creative in that helps to do that, then then I want to be involved in that bit. Yeah.
You know, when you talk about helping and the borough, what's it like being an employer then? So you've got all these mortgages on your head, right? And all these people come in. Do you feel a sense of pride that you've been able to bring people in and headcount?
I do when I stop and think about it. Yes, I do. And I would say pride, more often something like the pandemic coming in was more like fear.
Right.
Responsibility.
Yes.
So you feel a responsibility.
Yeah.
To the people who work for you.
Right. I see Neil's asking if you've got any roles recruited for 2021. He's not messed about, is he?
Yeah, he was gonna. Well, we're recruiting tomorrow. We're interviewing for the logistics manager. But no, going back to the Shopify site, so digital. I was saying you were going to start this digital strategy and pull all this information together and personalise the marketing and do a good job in that area. And in actual fact, we don't have somebody dedicated to the website.
Right.
And I think that all websites are different. We use Shopify, and we found it to be really good, but we'll probably need an expert in Shopify.
Right.
I think that's going to be the next. Why? Because the website is the place that people come to buy, and what did I tell you about? You've got to remember the sales. Because if I don't make the sales, I can't spread the positivity, creativity message.
You're dead right, yeah.
So yeah, I need people who understand all the things that these websites can do, and it is a speciality, you know. Really
right.
E-commerce, Shopify in particular, digital marketing. That's going to be next year's. Anybody who's really good in any of those areas, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Can I talk about with the time up? I'm enjoying myself. Are you alright? Yeah, can we stop? Can we stop a bit longer? What you like with suppliers? So I had a conversation this week about keeping suppliers happy as well. I know you've got to keep customers happy, but also suppliers can be key to the business. Now I know you're doing a lot of stuff in house, but are suppliers key to you as well? Do you treat them like as if they're a customer in terms of?
Yeah, we don't have a huge range of suppliers,
right.
But yes, we do look after. It's nice to be nice. You've got to be nice to everyone. It comes back to you somewhere along the line, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So in paper, if I think about paper, we brought that in-house. So we used two local companies. One was a small company, one was a large company.
Right.
And both of those companies knew what my plan was to bring that print in-house. They knew that. Yeah. And yet we were still able to work together, and we still will help each other out, and we have done in the last few months, even though they don't have that part of the business anymore.
Right.
We've had such a good, strong relationship with them as as a customer and them as a supplier. So I think we build strong relationships with anybody.
Yeah, no, good. It looks like you've got Andrew Rogers is a fantastic with e-commerce. So there's someone filling roles there. There's my friend from school, Kirsty. Yeah. So what have we got here?
Hi to you both. I know Kirsty.
Do you? Yeah. Would you believe we were in the same class together?
Really?
What do you mean, really? I've got some questions for you.
Yeah.
All right. Even though I've been asking you questions all night. What's the best thing you've ever made?
Oh, yeah, it's hard. I've got to say flour soft though, haven't I? Because that was the thing that took it into being a product that I didn't handcraft. So it has to be flour soft.
You're a crafter though, aren't you?
No, I'm very creative.
No, but like back in the day when you first started doing all the porcelain dolls and stuff. No. So your mum was doing all these dolls, and you got stuck with the hair and the face. Was that not your thing then? You weren't very. So
I am not a crafter.
Right.
And I'm not a maker, and I think today the younger people don't call themselves crafters.
Well, all them questions are out the window then, aren't they? They're all crafty questions.
Well, you can ask me. I know a lot about crafts and makers, but I personally don't make things. But I'm autistic, and I could. Yeah. But I don't.
Right. All my questions gone. No, they're not. Is there a product you would happily buy despite the expense, or maybe bring to market that you might think I really would love if we could do that, but it might be quite expensive to do it? You know, you talk about the laser cutting and stuff. Was that something where you thought I'd love to do that, but there's an expense, but I'm going to do it anyway?
Well, the laser cutting was more it's more that you sell the product that is made from the laser cutter rather than
So is there any products you think I'd love to be able to?
Yeah, stamps.
Stamps?
Yeah, so I mean, we've done, so in the card making papercraft world, stamps is, a whole industry on its own, and it's all about design. So it's all about the card maker or the paper crafter transferring and creating their own design from an image on the stamp. And it's something that we can manufacture. So I have now got a passion for manufacturing. I do love to manufacture. So
right.
We don't buy anything in from China anymore. Just about 90% of the products that we sell, we actually manufacture. And we've got several areas of expertise, and I think that stamps is a pretty good one for us to do.
So who decides what products are coming next then?
Well, that was me.
It's still you, isn't it?
It's not. No, it's not. Now we are formalising things much better.
Right.
Much better. I go into Alison's office now and I can see all the sort of collections and things, and collaboration about like which one are we going to do, and yeah, it's good.
What would be your ideal job?
What would be my ideal job? If I wasn't doing this, you mean?
Go on, I'll give you that little get out clause if you weren't doing this.
Because this has got to be the ideal job.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's got to be, hasn't it? But if it wasn't, I would probably do something. I would probably be a nurse or something like that.
Right. That's my questions done because you're spoiled with a crafty one. There you go. Look at that. It's been nearly 55 minutes. Didn't I tell you it would fly?
You did.
Through?
Yes. Tea time.
Beer time. Is there anything I haven't asked you that I should have that would be of value to our viewers?
I don't know because I can't.
Well, considering that you came like 2 minutes before I sat down and you gave us the list of things that I should look at.
I don't know what's on it. I told you I wouldn't remember.
What was on it? Threw it away.
I don't remember. That's Lindsay said. Write some things down.
I think we're all good. So unless anyone else has any questions, I think we might let you off the hook. It's been great. It's been absolutely fantastic. We're dead proud of you. Honestly, the borough is proud of you. We wanted to get you on. We'd love to have done this in person downstairs, but you can't stop. Can you? We've got to keep going. So thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Good stuff. Thanks for watching once again. I would tell you who's on next, but I don't know because we haven't settled out yet. Because we might get a Christmas break. We might be allowed off a little month off. So, or actually, why don't you tell us who you'd like to hear from? And we'll reach out and see if we can get them on the show. So thank you so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed this, be sure to share it maybe. Be sure to like it as well. And share it out to your network and see if they can take any value out of this, because I'm sure I have as well. Okay, well, thanks again for watching and we'll see you next time.